are the Smiths. I'm Kirsten. I'm Neve. This is Brim.
I'm Jeff,
Gunnar. I'm Rowan.
and we're going to tour our new 3950.
We're a family of 6. We have 4 kids that are 11, 9, 7, and 4, and also a dog. So we'll give you a little tour and show you how we all fit in here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful rig. So how did you guys decide to go full timing? That would be an interesting question.
About 15 years ago, probably 15 years ago now, before we ever had kids, we got this wild idea one day. Jeff looked at me and he was like, hey, what if we sold our house and we just bought a fifth wheel and we traveled around the country? And I was like, that would be amazing. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, there's going to be all these RV parks with like crusty old veterans drinking beer at night. They're going to tell the best stories. Like, what an amazing experience that would be. And it was one of those things that you talk about for a while, but we never took any action. We started shopping for RVs, and that's really all we ever did, right? Next thing you know, we bought a house, we started a business, we had a kid, we had another kid, then we had to upgrade the house to be in the right elementary school, and the roots just kind of got deeper and deeper.
Same old story.
Same old story. So fast forward till 2020, and we'd been RVing recreationally. During COVID, we wanted it to be as normal as possible for the kids. So we were living in Houston, and being in a big city, everything was shut down. So, we would pile in the RV and we would go do, a 6-week trip and hit 8 states, 11 states, things like that. And we noticed as soon as you got out of the big cities, COVID wasn't really a thing. So we really loved that.
Yep.
And then we realized I never sent the kids back to school. So we started homeschooling. We owned a gym that we sold, I guess, last spring, 2 springs ago.
2 years ago.
And then kind of one day we found ourselves. I'd always said that not selling the house and RVing was one of my biggest regrets. And so we sort of realized one day that we're only in this house, right? He's not leaving for work. I'm not taking the kids to school. What if our house moved? We could actually do that. And so I said, this idea that we had 15 years ago, are we crazy enough to do that with 4 kids? And he's like, heck yeah, we're crazy enough to do that. So we went to Miami on a business trip. I guess it was last spring, and kind of made our list of pros and cons, what it would look like for our family. We'd been planting seeds with the kids at dinner time and kind of getting them warmed up to the idea. They really liked RVing, but we knew that we needed a different rig if we were going to go full time. We'd had a travel trailer, we had a Class C, and we really needed some definition in our spaces if it was going to be, a full-time thing. And yeah, we came back from that Miami trip and started purging our house.
Put the wheels in motion. We had to do a bunch of stuff because we still own a lot of real estate and do real estate investing actively. And so we had to structure the businesses in a way that would allow us to travel and get everything set up. And it took 9 or 10 months of work to get everything situated for us to exit and leave Houston officially. So it was like a lot of work, and then everything happened in a 2-week period. It was a very stressful April as everything came to us, because she researches till the end of the earth. So we had to research every RV that has ever been produced. And so we thought we had settled on some model, and then the fall of last year, a reel dropped of this coming. But you couldn't find any information about it on the rest of the internet. From September to December, there was nothing. One 30-second reel of teaser of this thing going to exist. And then we got word that it was going to be in Tampa. And so we held off buying anything else, which we were going to order our RV in October probably, and get moving on the process. But we waited on this, flew to Tampa in January, put the deposit on this. They started building it in February, and we picked it up back in Tampa in the first week of April. So
Yep.
first week of April is when things started to move really, really fast. We got the truck shipped to us. We got the RV we had to go pick up in Tampa, sold our house, closed on our house, and then we moved into an RV park down the road from our house for about a month in Houston, and stayed in Houston, got work done to the truck, got work done to the RV while we were still in the large metro area. And then we left, and we've been on the road a couple months now. And so,
Almost,
yeah,
How are you liking it?
I love it.
I'll be honest, there was an element in the back of my mind that anticipated really disliking some aspect of it, whether it was the space, feeling like, we were constantly stepping on each other. I thought people were not going to handle the small space well, and that there were going to be more fights. And so maybe I was just planning for the worst, but I had this in my mind, like, this is going to happen. The other shoe's going to drop at some point in time, and we're all going to kind of hate this and be like, oh my God, what the hell did we do? But it hasn't happened. So far, I think everybody is adjusting really well. We're trying to get some one-on-one time with each kid, check in with them, see how they're doing. But I'm loving it. He's loving it.
Yeah.
The dog loves getting walks all the time instead of just getting let into the backyard. The kids are playing with more friends in the RV park situations than they ever did in the sticks and bricks situation. So far, it's been an absolute dream.
Yeah, there's some nuances to get used to, I think, especially traveling and stuff like that. And so we've only had we stayed somewhere 9 days, and we've stayed somewhere 21 days. And in those longer stays, the rest of the time we've been moving frequently within 2 or 3 days or a day. And I think when we move a lot, it's kind of disruptive, and we have to get used to making sure we're getting everything done and things like that, so nothing slips through the cracks. I like staying places for longer periods of time so that we can get into a routine and establish kind of a little bit of normalcy.
So you guys want to come take a look?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, so this is a gorgeous rig.
Thank
You guys have a beautiful home.
Thank you so much. We have been thrilled with it so far. I will say that this floor plan was like the unicorn floor plan for us. So as Jeff very kindly pointed out, I am like a level 10 fact finder. I'm a nerd from way back. I do tons of research on things. And I mean, I took it down to an Excel spreadsheet. Each rig that was kind of a finalist, here are the pros and cons. I made my list of must-haves, my list of nice-to-haves, things like that. And when this thing finally dropped, it had everything on my must-have list, and it had everything on my nice-to-have list, with the exception of an outdoor kitchen and TV. So that was the only thing I didn't get on this rig. So as a family of 6, it was really important to me, having little kids, we usually do family movie night once a week. So I wanted a place where, we had that cross-conversational seating instead of just having one big super sofa. And the way Brinkley designed this, it's actually got a little motor in here so you can make the couch a smaller U shape. You can bring it in to make it a bed, or you can close it all the way up for travel days. Also, having a space over here for homeschool stuff, and to be able to kind of all 6 of us be in here and eating dinner at the same time was a pretty big deal. So we've utilized that space. And then I actually got counter space in here, which is really nice. And they came up with, a really good use of space for some of these things. Like, you've got your knife storage in here. And then they designed this to be like utensil storage. I don't use it for that because I don't want the kids getting in and out. So we just store K-cups up there. But there really is a lot of storage that I don't need, to be honest. That was one of my big fears moving into an RV, is how are we going to fit all of our stuff in there? But I mean, I have an entire drawer here that's still empty. But appliances, all sorts of things. These pullouts for the pantry, hold a ton of food, and then a little utility pull out as well is super convenient.
Way nicer than having to reach all the way back into.
Right.
Yeah.
They kept you from having to, get into those deep cavernous spots. And, they utilized little areas to the best of their ability, I guess, to try to squeeze a little bit of extra storage in there. And then the construction's been fantastic so far. Everything is, solid wood, and the drawers are all dovetailed over here. So one of my favorite things is that it's easy to clean.
Yeah.
Because it's a small space.
Yeah.
So I was telling you guys, my 9-year-old is really into baking, and she has not picked up the cleaning side of things. So the other day she took on a project, and there were dishes everywhere and a mess everywhere. And yeah, kitchen can be clean in 20 minutes. It's glorious.
Yeah.
Here. Kids room. I will show you this. So we looked at some bunkhouse models, but ultimately we decided on a toy hauler, probably in part nostalgia, because our very first RV was a travel trailer, but it was a toy hauler. And we just loved that little outdoor space, having a little bit of extra square footage, and kind of being outside without really being outside. So that was always our absolute favorite RV. So we did a little bit of modification back here. So typically, in your toy hauler models, you'll have this Happy Jack system with a queen size tray up top, and then 2 Happy Jack sofas that will convert, right? My vision for this was I wanted the kids to all have designated space that was their own space. So we customized and built these trays that are actually king size depth. So what we did is we've got full size twin beds, 4 of them up there, and then about 12 inches in between each bed. But it holds all the stuffed animals and, little kid trinkets and things like that. And it gives everybody their defined space so that they can go there. And then, having 4 kids, I didn't want anybody fighting over this space. So this is a little reading nook up there. Instead of making that someone's bed, that is, if you need a little space, you can get up there, you can read, things like that, take a little breather. And then they've got their little half bath in here. So not a ton of space, but enough to get everything done. And then this is a little interesting.
So how does that work in practice?
In practice, we don't actually use it, since my kids have a tendency to break things. Yeah. So the idea is great.
Yeah.
I think if the kids were a little bit older, or if you had adults back here or something, then it would be fine.
Hi, Matt.
My 9-year-old is obsessed with Matt, so. All right, I will show you guys the front of the rig. All right, I guess your typical RV bathroom, there's nothing really to note in here. They did find, a good use of storage with medicine cabinet and this beauty here. So again, you don't have those typical big cavernous holes that you've got to find things to fit in and pull your bins out. So that makes things super easy to find. Big fan of that. All right, so like I was saying with the kids' room, being full-timers, I was looking to kind of maximize all of our spaces. So kids' room, being bunk room, being playroom, homeschool room, things like that, we needed our bedroom to not only be the master bedroom, but also be Jeff's office. So this is where he usually works from. It's probably not the ideal background when he's recording podcasts and things like that, because he gets our bed, but it has taught me to make my bed every day. So one thing that he really loved was this thing. to pull out, and then usually he can stack his computer up and do podcasts and things like that. We have not purchased it yet, but Brinkley actually makes a leaf that'll go in here. Yep, and it'll extend your tabletop and give you a full desk, and then it actually will store really easily right in this little ledge. So I think that's probably on our radar. One thing that I loved is that they gave us the underbed storage, but you also get drawers.
Yeah, so this is one of the neatest features that I like. It's an outdoor refrigerator that just slides out and we can put sandwiches in there during travel day. And it's not too big and it doesn't take up a lot of space. The thing I thought I would miss out on was the built-in griddle that a lot of them have. But I've gotten past that with the Blackstone that we take on the road. It's very easy for us. This thing has a ton of storage. It's a mess right now, obviously. But the pass-through to the basement goes all the way through to here. And it has as much storage as any of the Momentums that we were looking at as well, which is fantastic.
I'm sure it's more than most Momentum.
Yeah, it does. It does. Some of the Momentums we were looking at didn't have nearly the basement that we needed. And it comes with stock with 3 of these MORryde trays. This one's just our gym equipment, but we've got one on this side that comes all the way out, and we've got 2 on the other side that allow us tons more storage.
Yeah.
So the very cool thing about the Brinkley models is that they're a little bit more expensive MSRP, I guess, but you don't have to do a lot of the aftermarket stuff.
Exactly.
I think people probably discredit that a little bit
for
the cost of, like, if you buy a basic 5th wheel, you're going to put a lot of aftermarket stuff on it. This one's locked. It's got all of our solar stuff on it. It came stock with 4 solar panels and 2 batteries. This is just additional storage up here. So as you can see, the basement just continues. We chose to put the Gen Y gooseneck on, which was an upgrade to not have the 5th wheel. You and I talked about this immediately when I got here, because you've had yours for 3 years. We're super happy with the decision that we made. Love the gooseneck. It's very easy. You get all the access to the back of your truck that way. This is just more basement storage. Levelers, and then we've got buttons for our gray tank and black tank. You just slide those up. They auto dump as long as you're hooked up, obviously. And I'll show you more of those MORryde trays. And then we've got the MORryde extension cord reel, if you will, for your 50 amp cord.
Did you use that?
Yes.
You like it?
It's okay. I like it a lot better. It stores nicely. The actual reeling portion of it is a little off because it does get bulky, and if you don't do it perfectly, it can tax the motor. But getting it out is awesome because you just unlock it and then you yank it, and the reel just lets go, so you don't have to use the motor, and so it's very fast from that standpoint. Really, that's it. Oh yeah, it comes with a 60-gallon fuel tank for all your toys. It comes with 2 sewer pipe containers or storage bins hooked to the frame. We need probably 2 more, actually, which would be nice. So I may look into mounting those too. So it's got the additional fuel tank, and one of the reasons we chose this one was because it's got such great black tanks and gray tank storage, because we do want to do some boondocking. And stop. We're going to fill those tanks fast. Yeah, exactly. And it's got a 150-gallon freshwater tank too. So you've got a lot of ability to take a lot of water with you as well. And I'm looking forward. MORryde apparently just came out with the porch cover again. I don't know if you remember that. They had them in like 2016 and they discontinued them. Yep. They're supposed to be rolling another one out later this fall.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm super excited about getting that for this to add some square footage for the kids' room, like 3-season style that you don't have to take down. And then we're looking at getting a clam for the outdoors as well to add another 100-some square feet of outdoor space and working space. So that's about the extent of what we've got. We didn't do any real aftermarket upgrades outside of the 8K axles and the disc brakes. That was an upgrade that we paid for on the way in. We thought those would be beneficial out west and traveling through the mountains and things like that. But besides that, we pretty much left it stock. I have a tendency to overbuy toys and upgrades and things like that, and then it turns out you don't use them.
Yep.
And so we decided together that we would collectively like keep a list on things we wanted and then slow play them as they kind of fit into our lives. So that's why we don't have a ton of stuff out here right now. We're looking at getting, like I said, the clam. We're looking at getting, she wants rugs, a bunch of other things like that we just didn't want to haul around right off the bat in case we didn't want them and they didn't really fit in our life.
Okay, so we are still new to full-time RV life, but we, per the request of friends and family back home, started a YouTube channel. It's not quite up and running yet, but if you want to follow along on our journey, we are Tactical Trekkers on Instagram and soon YouTube. Give us some time.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys so much for letting us see your beautiful home, and see you guys out on the road.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys.